Hi, everyone. How are you? Are you feeling inspired? I certainly am after hearing our speakers. Today, I want to convince you of something. I want to convince you that we are extremely lucky. Notice I said we. I'm going to be using that word quite a bit over the next 5 minutes. We, it turns out, if you think about it, is a fairly ambiguous word. We can mean me and what's your name? Aisha. Me and Aisha. We could mean me and everyone in this room. We could mean me and everyone who's alive on the planet, the global and all-encompassing we. But we can also mean a group of people who are together yet feel utterly alone. In this particular case, when I say we are very lucky, I mean everyone that's alive today. I mean the all-encompassing we. We are lucky because, for the first time in human history, should we so choose, we can go out and search for life outside the solar system and perhaps even find it. This is not easy, okay? The Earth is about 10 billion times fainter than the sun. Imagine trying to detect the glow of a firefly roughly 5 feet away from an industrial searchlight, like the ones you see at Hollywood premieres. Okay? Except that firefly and that searchlight are located in Los Angeles, and you're standing in New York City. That's the magnitude of the challenge. Except, it turns out that a firefly is about 1,000 times brighter compared to that searchlight as the Earth is compared to the sun. So the problem is even 1,000 times harder than that analogy makes it sound. But if you could do this, if you could actually detect that pale blue dot, that Earth-like planet orbiting a nearby sun-like star, and take its light and divide it up into its component wavelengths, you could search for evidence of an atmosphere, and then you could search for evidence, signatures of water vapor, which might indicate a global surface ocean, and you could look for signatures of carbon dioxide, which is a thermostat. And so you could see whether or not that planet is actually habitable. But what's more is you could look for evidence of things like oxygen, which on Earth is created by life. So you could look for evidence of life on that planet and determine whether or not only is it habitable, but is it inhabited as well. In other words, you could finally show whether or not we, the all-encompassing we, are alone. Now, this sounds crazy, right? It sounds like science fiction. But I assure you it is not. For the past 3 years, I have been co-chair of a NASA study, and we have been working with engineers and other astronomers to develop a mission concept that we think, within the next 15 to 20 years, can actually achieve this goal, can actually go and look at the nearest stars, find Earth-like planets around those stars, and look for evidence of life. And so within the next 15 or 20 years, we may actually be able to answer this question, are we alone? I have had this dream since I was in 2nd grade. But I largely kept this dream to myself, because at the time, the idea of looking for life outside the solar system was considered a little fringe, at best. Crazy, at worst, a little cuckoo. So I kept it to myself, but I learned astronomy, and I kept on learning astronomy. And our society kept on gaining knowledge and kept on acquiring new technology, ever more capable technology. And so what I eventually started finding was that I was not the only person who had this vision, who had this dream of trying to find life outside the solar system. Not only other astronomers had this dream, but other engineers, other policymakers, congressmen, or stakeholders, people in the public, people sitting next to me on the plane, right, who were doctors, engineers. They had these same dreams, these same aspirations. So about 10 years ago, I decided that I would start working with astronomers and working with engineers and working with the stakeholders, the Congress people, the policymakers, and the public to convince them that now is the time to go and build this mission and go out and see if there is life outside the solar system. I work most closely with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL. JPL has done some amazing things. They built the Voyager spacecraft. They built the Viking Mars lander. They built the Curiosity Mars rover. They also built the Cassini spacecraft, which brought back to us images of the Saturnian system that were more beautiful than almost any image I've ever seen. Now, the first time I walked into JPL, there was a sign that was about 40 foot long, and it read, "Dare mighty things." We used to dare mighty things, but we got lost somewhere. A line from the movie Interstellar, in my opinion, says it best. We used to look up at the sky and wonder about our place in the stars, but now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt. Again, notice there are two we's in that statement. There are the we's that look down and worry about their place in the dirt, that are desperate for meaning, desperate for purpose. And then there's the other we's that look up in the sky and wonder about their place in the stars. These are the people that are adamant and who work together to make things happen. These are the people that used to do things not because they were easy, but because they were hard. So join me. Let us stop looking down and worrying about our place in the dirt. Let us look up and wonder about our place among the stars. Let us do all the things we have heard about and will hear about today. And let us go and look for life. And let us do those things and all the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Let us take inspiration from everything that we hear today. Let us dare mighty things. Thank you.